Hello. So in this video we will learn about concept of compound interest. What is compound interest? Simple interest we have already studied. In compound interest also you have principal. Principal is the amount, is the sum which is borrowed. Okay, suppose you are borrowing, so you are borrowing principal at some rate for some time. Okay, and then you will add interest in that, and whatever you will return is the amount. Okay, when we are talking about compound interest, the procedure is same. We are returning some interest, but here we were calculating simple interest like this. Suppose we are borrowing for 5 years. After 5 years our principal will remain same. Okay, like we are borrowing, suppose we are borrowing 10,000 rupees for someone at some rate of interest for some years. Suppose we say for 3 years. Okay, then after 3 years you will return amount, and in amount you will say I will return 10,000 plus interest plus simple interest, and your principal will be same even after 5 years. But this does not happen in compound interest. Then what happens in compound interest? Suppose you have some principal. Suppose principal I am taking, suppose 100 rupees. We have principal, we are borrowing some amount, that is 100 rupees. We have rate also here. Suppose I am borrowing at 5% per annum. Okay, and then I am borrowing for some time, let's say for 3 years. Then after 3 years my principal will increase. How will it increase? What is the procedure? The procedure is like this. I will tell you the direct formula, but what is the procedure? That we count simple interest for every 1 year. For first year we will not take time 3 years, then we will calculate simple interest for first year. After 1 year you will get your simple interest is 5 rupees, and amount will become 100 plus 5 equal to 105. Now this is the main thing in compound interest, that after 1 year you are borrowing again and principal is 105 now. The person who is lending is in very much profit if he is lending on compound interest. And if you want to borrow, then you are in loss if you are borrowing on compound interest, because another sphere in second year the principal is increased now. When you will calculate rate at 5% and time 1 year only, because you calculate only for 1 year, because every year your principal increases. Okay, so here simple interest will be 105 into 5 into 1 upon 100, and it will be when you will multiply 5.25. okay, and then your amount is 105 plus 5.25. This is 110.25. okay, see the principal is only 100 here, and therefore the difference is this. If you will borrow for 2 years, suppose we are borrowing for 2 years. Okay, if you will borrow on simple interest, how much you will pay? 100 into 5 into 2 upon 100. Okay, interest is 10 and amount is 100 plus 10 and 110. But if you are borrowing on compound interest, what is the procedure? This is the procedure, that after every year principal will increase. So you are giving 110.25 after 2 years, because you calculated on compound interest. Okay, so amount is more. If you are a borrower, then you are in loss. We were borrowing only 100, therefore the difference is very less. But if it will be 1 lakh rupees or 1 crore rupees, So the difference is huge in compound interest or simple interest. So if we want to borrow, we should borrow on simple interest. Now if we want to calculate compound interest, and if we will calculate like this will be a very long procedure. So how do we calculate compound interest? I will tell you the direct formula. Okay, the direct formula is, in compound interest you calculate amount, not interest. Okay, interest we will calculate later. First we calculate amount. What is the formula for amount? P 1 plus R by 100 raised to power n. So principal was 100 rupees. I will calculate the same question only. 100 rupees. 1 plus rate is 5 upon 100 raised to power 2. Okay. So 105 by 100 raised to power 2. Okay. 105 raised to power 100 means we can write it as 100 into 105 into 105 upon 100 into 100. So we got this, and we can cut 5 2s are 10, 1. Okay, this is 20, 5 4s are 20, this is 21, 21, 4 41 by 4, and when you will calculate it will be 110.25. Okay, so either you can calculate by this formula amount, or you can calculate like this. But when we calculate in exams for big amounts, so how do we calculate? When we have a big principal, large principal, so we calculate like this. This is the formula for compound interest. And if you need to calculate compound interest, what will you do? Amount minus principal. So your amount is 110.25 minus 100. So compound interest is 10.25. So I hope you have understood the difference between simple interest and compound interest, that what is the procedure. But actually we are not calculating like this, that for 1 year it will be a big task if we are calculating for 10 years or 5 years. Okay, so how do we calculate? We calculate like this. By applying the formula, we will calculate amount and then compound interest by subtracting principal from amount. Okay, so if you like this, please subscribe to my channel. Next we will do half yearly compound interest or quarterly compound interest.